Alright, let's do the thing. If I can get my microphone to obey. There. You're gonna be nice? Okay. Hi. How's it going? So, I've got a license. Question is, you got a license to join the stream? Wait, why did I give it almost a rolling R there? It's not part of Cockney accent, is it? Straem. Anyway. Let's see what nonsense is about to happen. I don't know. Depends on you. Oh, great. Another useless live stream. All right. Let me help you on your way. Since you clearly need assistance in picking things you actually enjoy watching, I'm just going to nudge you a little bit. You're welcome. I didn't realize it was a stream. No? Okay. I see, Mike. What even is a stream? And why do I even have headphones on? I don't need them. I can release the fluff in its full glory and all that shit. Hello, mate. Your license is a smartphone. It's a Samsung smart refrigerator? Okay. Guess it'll have to do. Thanks for this unnecessary live stream. Thank you, Mirochi. You are very welcome. I am here for all your unnecessary needs, which are not needs because it's unnecessary. I do have to wonder what's a necessary stream. What makes a stream necessary? That's a important question. Some of the best things in life are unnecessary. Yeah, that's true. Pizza is strictly unnecessary. Unless you have nothing else to eat, I suppose. Have you considered doing a hot tub stream? No. For simply the reason, and the only reason, that we don't have a hot tub. No other reason, obviously. Commence the Mongolian throat singing? Yeah, you go ahead, Angry Clown. You join the Patreon voice chat right now. I want to hear you do Mongolian throat singing. I cannot. I would just be insulting it by trying to imitate it. It's a skill. It's not an easy skill, I imagine. Not anyone can just casually Mongolian throat sing. A bathtub can be a hot tub, can it? Just because it's hot water? I don't know. I think a hot tub needs a bit more than that. How about a jet stream? Shut up, ankle. Snapping nonsense. For some reason, it's been particularly noisy lately. Like, I cannot walk around without, literally with every step. You know? Snap, 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 every time. I don't know why. $10 to start hot top streaming. Sure. Where's your license anyway? You should be more active. You couldn't have put that any more vaguely, could you? You should do more things. I think that would be still more specific, because you should be more active. That can mean anything. You should put out more videos. You should stream more. You should do random things more. You, you should breathe more. You should live more. You should, I don't know, intensify your heartbeat. You should be a more active drug user, which is not hard to increase it from 0. Yeah. Fun fact, not dying is good for your health. Yeah, I figured. It's kind of, it has occurred to me before. You should do more and more. Yeah, I know, right? You should do more of the more doing. Yes. Some real philosophy right here. Thank you, Arnab. How about I trim you bald? Just kidding. Yeah, you better just be kidding. You better just be kidding. Oh, hi. The great lemon has arrived. Welcome, his sourness. I demand a lemon shot out of a crossbow. Wear glasses, please, if you do that. Yeah. Getting lemon juice in your eyeballs is probably not good. Also, Skull, you're amazing. Don't stop unless you have to. Well, thank you. I don't really plan to. I don't really know why I should have to anyway, but yeah. Thanks, Birdie. Have you read Malazan? I'm trying to get into it. I don't even know what that is, so no, I have not. Sorry. No clue. My dad has the exact same beard and hair. No, he doesn't. Because I still have mine. He cannot have this exact same hair and beard because it's growing on me and it's mine. Do you have any reviews that you would change after years of reflection? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't really think of anything necessarily on top of my head, but very likely. If I, reviewed my reviews, I would probably find something that I would have to, or want to correct, or, I don't know, change, or, have an addendum, or, errata. Is Viking a verb? No, it's more of it can be an adjective, I suppose. Sort of. Or is it an adverb? Because you don't Viking, but you can go Viking. Means go on a raid, So, yeah. So I feel like this is a joke. Someone sometime probably asked already, but do you play D&D? I have a feeling you know that it's part of the stream bingo and you're just teasing. Yeah. If you aren't, no, and it is one of those 150,000 times asked FAQs. I had to shave my beard for the new N99 masks for the hospital I work at. The sacrifices are great as the fight with COVID continues. Yeah, that sucks. COVID beard also sucks, but that's not as bad as having to get rid of it. Just it being temporarily deformed is not as bad as losing it altogether. Anyway, thanks Lemon and John and Stuart and Meterian. Wow, let me just catch up here. You call that a stream? This is a stream. Yeah, indeed. Oh, you got your own stream? You better stream while we stream. Hope you're well. You often spoke about the durability of the zombie tools blades. I'm curious, are they the most durable weapons you've handled? Could they be the most durable weapons to exist? To exist? I don't know. You can always one-up it. Because if somebody came along and made the exact same design but made the thing another millimeter thicker, it would be even more durable. But of course, you reach a point where the thing becomes so heavy that it's no longer particularly practical. You can always improve something or one-up it or whatever. You will hit a ceiling eventually where it comes at the expense of other things, but yeah. Anyway, how do they fix major damage to swords, like what happened to the Principe? I made a video about that a couple months ago, I think. What was the title again? I think How to Repair a Blade? Yeah, repairing edge damage the cheap and simple way. That's what I showed there. That's basically how they did it as well. You have to grind it out. You have to remove material until you meet the new width, I suppose, where it dips in. And then you can either grind the entire thing to make it even, or you can accept that there's going to be a bit of a divot in the edge. Either way. Thanks, Fujiko. Thoughts on the Devil's Edge Greek Xiphos? Just ordered one myself through Kult of Athena. It will be blah, 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 words. It'll be my 4th sword. Well, I reviewed that a few years, probably more than a few years ago by now, and I liked it. At the time when I reviewed it, they had an issue with the steel. It was softer than it should have been. From what I've heard, I think they fixed that. I think they improved that. It's been a while, so yeah, I think it's good. I watched your videos to buy... wait, what? I watched your swords to buy videos. Okay, I did automatically correct that, and then I thought I had misread it, but yes. Watch your videos to buy swords, and I didn't see the Principe listed. Is that not one you would suggest? If so, why not? Those videos. Simply because it's not as durable as a lot of other swords. I mean, it's a beastly cutter. Like, it's the best cutting sword I've ever tested. But it's such a thin blade, and it thins out so much toward the edge that it's easy to damage it. So it's not for everyone. Let's see what else we got. Where could I get a Kriegsmesser? These days, I would definitely highly recommend looking at Landsknecht Emporium. I gave you like a first impression of one that I got recent-ish. And so far, seems really good. Kopesh or Kusarigama? That's a really strange question. Like, two completely unrelated things, and you have to decide between them. It's like potatoes and gravy or mac and cheese. It's like it's not even apples and oranges. It's like apples and broccoli. It's so different. There's like no relation at all. So yes, why not both? Potatoes or grapes, yeah, pretty much. Sickle or hammer? Both, comrade, both. Kopesh with Kusari attached. Okay, I mean, that works. Yeah, I can see that. I was serious with that D&D question, sorry. All right, don't worry about it. You can't know everything that's ever come up. I just had a suspicion because a lot of people like to troll, and I was like, you know, he might be trying to pull my leg. Bliat, indeed. How's it actually pronounced? I don't know Russian pronunciation. I think it's probably bliat, bliat, but I don't know for sure how that's pronounced. Bliat. It's actually kind of gross. I just realized I've been mostly drinking, you know, if I drink pop or soda, whatever you want to call it, it's mostly been Dr. Pepper, and they in the store they only had, you know, yesterday they only had regular Coke and Pepsi, so I got Diet Coke, and nah, it's not really doing it for me. It's also Dr. Pepper, so it's not like the sugar versus sweetener, but yeah, I don't know. Dr. Pepper just has more flavor. It's just more. This stuff is, I don't know. It tastes kind of artificial. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who cares? I'm not gonna pour it down the drain, but it's not as enjoyable as Dr. Pepper. Thanks, Metarian. How do they fix? Wait. That's, I already read that. There's a new one. Thanks, Ezra. Would you do a video on the Japanese Viking equivalent, the woku? Woku? Okay. I've never heard of that. Let's see. So Japanese pirate, basically, huh? Because essentially Vikings are pirates. Problem is I know nothing about them, so I would have to do a lot of research. Seems like more of a Metatron topic, you know? Megatron. Just gotta cover that. Soda is bad, cocaine is good. Yes, you are correct. That's why you mix it with whiskey. Yeah, it makes it better. Or rum or whatever. Ever use a Scottish long dagger and a spiked buckler in one hand? No, with a sword in the other. That would be interesting, for sure. Thanks, Egriff. Happy Monday. Thanks for the great content. You're welcome. I just recorded something earlier that I got to edit after the stream. Just wanted to do a bit of a stream break in between. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you go kind of nuts, you know, all day. Dirk and Buckler sounds legit. It sure is. Thanks, see you, Space Cowboy. Will you make another video on Hellish Court again? No plans for it currently, but I might. I would not exclude that possibility, you know. But yeah, no current plans for it. Thanks, Ezra. Maybe you and Metatron could do another collab video on them then, with your Norseman focus and his Japan focus. It could work. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. We might do that. 'Tis not terrible. Let me see here. All right, put that on the list. Thanks, William. Kukri or Kopis? Yes, both. If I had to pick one, it would be the Kopis because it's more of a sword. The Kukri's, kind of a large knife more than a sword. Although there are longer ones that are more sword-like. But I do think the Kopis has a little bit more to offer in terms of design because it has, it's got a small guard, but it's got one. I don't mind the Kukri at all. It's a great tool / weapon. The Kopis is just a weapon, It's more specialized. Thanks, Alexander. I want to buy a Zweihander, but I can't find anything. Yeah, I've had the same problem. I mean, Albion makes some. And they've got the Maximilian and the Tyrolean, I think it's called. Yeah. And otherwise, there's not a whole lot. I think Regenier makes sharp ones as well. He definitely makes blunt ones for practice, but I think he's also got some sharps. But yeah, overall, they're kind of hard to find. What else we got? Custom made, yeah, that's always an option. Could be pricier. What are your thoughts on the Sarissa spear? I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it because I've always focused much more on the dueling part of fighting as opposed to battlefield combat, and I've never really looked specifically into it. It's not something that I would ever use personally because I don't really see getting enough people together to try to form a formation and use them, and also they would be really inconvenient to transport because they're very long. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts. It was effective at the time. That's about it. Explain the difference between buckler and targe, please. That's a good question. So it's essentially the difference lies in how you hold it, because a buckler has a center grip. So they tend to be pretty small. They do come in different sizes. Sometimes they are all steel, but they can also be wood with a steel boss, or iron for that matter. And you have a center grip that you hold it with. If you look at my videos about shields, I've made a few shields and bucklers. You can see that in more detail. And a targe, on the other hand, the Scottish shield, has two straps. It's one that you pass your arm through and the other you hold with your hand. So it's a different way of holding and using it. And the targe is also a specific Scottish form. It's usually decorated in, culturally characteristic ways. It's kind of an awkward way to put it, but you know what I mean. Scottish style. Scottish lads. Thinks Canis Arcani. That's a cool name. I know that you're big on realism and fantasy, but what's the craziest, most impractical fantasy weapon and armor that you actually like? The craziest, most impractical. Let me think. I mean, there's definitely some cool transforming weapons, like, for example, trick weapons in, I was going to say Dark Souls, Bloodborne. Stuff that can transform from one shape into the other. In fact, Monster Hunter has some pretty neat designs. It get completely over the top, ludicrous. That's the point. And some of the stuff I do quite like, actually. You know, things that actually transform from one weapon type into another. You know, like transforms from like a two-handed sword into a whatever, an axe, or I forgot which, you know, what they specifically do, but there's definitely some stuff that I do like in terms of design concept. They're cool, no doubt about it. In terms of, I don't know, impractical armor, I tend to have more of a problem with that because with some impractical fantasy weapons, you can at least be like, well, you know, with superhuman strength, you can probably kind of get away with it. But there's a lot of armor that you just physically would not be able to move in. Like the only reason it works in the game is because of clipping. And I don't know. But I mean, completely disregarding whether or not it would work. Armor. I tend to like the sort of, like Daedric armor, for example, the kind of dark edgelord shit, you know, with glowing eyes and a lot of, not spiked, but a lot of pointed plates, you know? A lot of, you know, points and edges, corners. I'm horrible at describing what I mean, so let me just look it up. Essentially, I have a feeling if I look up like Dark Knight art, no wait, Dark Knight, then we get Batman. What would be the term? I'm just gonna try Dark Knight. Death Knight. Just want to give you an example of what I mean. Yeah. Basically this kind of. Let me just show you the window real quick. Where is there? Yeah, essential. I mean, this is actually supposed to be Batman armor. That's a little bit over the top, but sort of like that. What else we get here? Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I mean, that's not super impractical, but that's pretty cool. Stuff like that. What else? That's too spiky. But sort of in that direction, you know? That's also too spiky. But still looks kind of cool, you know? I think you get the gist of it. Thanks, Budding Humanist. It's very generous of you. Appreciate it. This is for your Straem license. Also, ever heard of Ancient Smithy? I think their stuff is mainly for show. I have an accent hammer from them, but I was curious if you ever heard of / tested anything from them. I can't say I have. I haven't heard of Ancient Smithy either, let alone test anything. Let me just quickly look it up. Yeah, it's a pretty neat fantasy style. Not really for me, but looks nice enough. And thanks, Alcacer. Can cleaver / chopping swords be used against armor? Yes. I mean, it depends, of course, on what armor. You're not going to be as effective against plate, but at the same time, if you if you take a forward heavy cleaver chopping sword kind of deal and you smash someone in the head, even if they're wearing plate, that's still not going to be fun. And against, of course, against soft armor, padded armor, gambeson, etc., very effective. Against mail, again, very effective. Against scale, also fairly effective. Thanks, AM Productions. Shut up and take my streaming license. It is taken. And appreciate it. What inspired the stream's name? Nothing particularly. It's just something that my silly brain spit out at the time. Sometimes I just like to pick a super random, meme-like name for the lols for a stream. Just to kind of set the mood, which is non-serious, just goofing off, messing around. That's the thing. Thanks, Aaron Snare. If you get the opportunity to forge weapons, would you do it? If yes, what type of weapon? Thank you. There's been some really generous super chats popping up here. Highly appreciated. Definitely helps out. What would I want to forge? Good question. I don't have the opportunity, but if I did, I think I would actually want to just do some custom designs. I would just try to come up with something, like fantasy swords or maces or axes and stuff like that, and would want to try that out to see how well it works, just to satisfy curiosity. I can't tell you specific things because I don't have anything on my mind at the moment, but I've got, I have a few sketches. Like, for example, there is, let me just pull that up real quick here. Image. Yeah, here's one, for example. No, not this. It's not what I want to pull around. Hey, there. I don't know how well this would work out, but it would be kind of neat to try. Stuff like this. Weird axe. That would be interesting. Experiment. I haven't been able to watch your streams, working a lot. I'm at work right now, actually. Understandable. I am. There is a lot of workload on everybody, and yeah. That's also why I haven't streamed in 2 weeks. Like I like to try to do it once a week, but it is just that was too much work. Thanks again, Ezra and Birdie. Have you seen Nate? Is it Nate V or Nate 5? I don't know the person. A video on drawing swords from the back, and Matt Easton's and Shad's response videos to it. No, I don't know how old that is. I saw Shad's custom-made scabbard. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't actually see it in action. I don't have that much time to watch other people's videos, unfortunately. So I'm totally out of the loop on most things. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. Or was. Is flying cavalry a good idea? It could be. I made a video about flying fighters, fantasy fighters, what weapons they might use. That was back in, 2018, 19? It could work. I could see it in some ways. Thanks, Ben. If you were in a HEMA competition, what would your walkout song be? I did participate before, but I didn't have a walkout song. What would it be? Probably a Therion song. Which one? I can't tell you on top of my head. Or maybe it's too dramatic. I don't know. I would just pick one of my favorite songs, probably from either Therion or Paradise Lost, or maybe Disturbed. Uh-oh, they're coming. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, uninspired rambler. That's a good name. Halberd or greatsword? Which would you prefer as a gift and why? Good question. They're both not easy to find on the reproduction market, at least high quality reproductions. I think I might prefer a halberd, simply because I haven't had a good halberd. You know, I had what was it called again? Swiss halberd, I think, by Cold Steel, which was cheap. Like very cheap in the sense of it shows. So it would be great to have a properly made, historically accurate halberd. Yeah. Thanks, John the Knight. What do you think about Warhammer Old World, Empire armor, and of course the steam tank? Would it work in real life? I have no idea. I'm not a Warhammer aficionado. I don't know much about it. Isn't the Empire stuff like heavily inspired by Renaissance gear? You know, Landsknecht armor and weapons. Seems so, yeah. What I've seen here and there looks pretty good, but as said, I'm not into Warhammer and I don't know much about it, so I honestly can't tell you. I also don't know how the steam tank is supposed to work, so again, I can't really tell you if it would work. You could take the basic concept of a steam train, I suppose, and put it on tracks and turn it into a tank, possibly. I don't see why not. Might work. Is there a weapon you always wanted to wield but never got the chance to? Oh, there's plenty. There's a variety of Oceanian weapons, for example. Like Polynesia has a lot of really interesting stuff. What else I mean, India has so many odd weapons. They seem odd to us, at least. What else? I've tried a lot at some point or another. More pole arms is always good. Always more pole arms. Like for example, there are some interesting Chinese pole arms that have unusual shapes. Well, again, unusual from my point of view. Thanks, Brightol, if I pronounced that correctly. No comment there. What's your least favorite food? Healthy things, unfortunately. As a kid, I absolutely despised Brussels sprouts. These days, I'm okay with them. Like, I don't particularly enjoy them, but they're okay. Least favorite. There are definitely things that I'm not fond of. Super hot stuff, really. You know, the kind of food that has so much, so much hot spice to it that I can't taste anything. You know, like that the hotness just overwhelms everything. There's no flavor other than hot, pain on the tongue, It's not for me. What else? There's so many veggies, and I'm not a huge fan of veggies. I just eat them because they're healthy. What are some of your least favorites? I'll probably agree with some of them. There's probably a lot that I just am not thinking of, on top of my head. Thanks, Secret Septus. Low on money, read following message. All right, will do, thank you. There, I have an idea for a weapon. A pole arm with adjustable blade configuration. A compound blade spear, which can be disjointed with a twist of a handle to turn it into a steel ribbon pole arm flail. Okay. You might be able to pull it off. The only problem is now you've introduced a weak spot, because that connection there, since it's detachable, would not be as strong as a regular pole arm. So yeah, you've definitely made it less durable. Could it still be useful? Possibly. Cauliflower, I don't actually mind. Broccoli, it's not fantastic. But I mean, steamed broccoli with good sauce is actually fine. Oh, you hate lima beans? I don't mind them. Pickles, okay. Lettuce? I don't really mind that. Don't like peanut butter, okay. No peanut butter jelly sandwiches? I do like that. One thing I just remembered. Water chestnuts, which is weird because I normally like crunchy food, but on them I hate the consistency. Water chestnuts are gross. I always pick them out when they're in a mix. I don't even know why, really. It normally would seem like the kind of thing I would like, but no. Hate. Do not like. I hate raw onions. Look, they can be okay. There's some salads with raw onions they're fine to me. It's interesting how differently people perceive the same thing. Absolutely despise cucumbers. They smell so bad. Huh. Like, to me, cucumbers don't smell very strong. Like, yeah, they have a certain smell, but it's actually not that strong to me. Social anxiety isn't a real thing when you just don't give a shit about other people's opinions. It's a very random off-topic thing, but it's also a really strange statement, because it's like, social anxiety isn't real when you don't have social anxiety. That's literally what you're saying. Because people who have social anxiety can't help but be preoccupied with what other people think. That's literally part of the anxiety. That's literally the condition. So, yeah. It's like saying broken legs aren't a thing if you don't break your leg. Okay. All right. That stood out to me. It was like, huh? Anyway, cooked carrots, texture problem. The mushiness makes me get. Well, don't overcook them, because you can cook them just a little bit where they still have a certain firmness to them. It's not really an issue. What else do we have? There's a lot of comments. We scroll so fast. What am I going to read? Celery is just water, solid water. I feel like that's the case with a lot of cucumbers. Cucumbers have such a high water content. Celery has a very strong flavor, actually. Very strong. Do you think guns will evolve significantly from now on in the upcoming decades? Significantly, I doubt it. At least looking back at firearm development in the past 10 or 20 years, I mean, yeah, there have been changes, there have been some new things, but not like dramatically different. So I'd be surprised if there were like really stunning changes. Thanks, John. If you're dead, you are not alive. Wisdom. Yeah, right. Amazing. Grilled asparagus is one of my faves. Love it. I'm not a fan of asparagus. I think with me the thing is asparagus has this kind of stringy consistency to it, you know, like stringy fibers. I don't like that very much. Celery is actually nutritious and flavorful. It's lettuce that's crunchy water. Yeah, lettuce has essentially the nutritional quality of tissue paper, which means you can eat a ton of it and it doesn't really matter much, but yeah. You don't like celery either, and I'm not really a fan. Like, celery in stir fry can be okay, but not a fan. And raw celery is a bit much. Texture matters, yes, it does. White asparagus is really tender, though. I've had white asparagus that still has a bit of that, you know, stringy fiber quality to it. I don't know. No politics. We don't do that here. Skull doesn't like food, confirmed. Yeah. I hate food. That's why I'm so skinny right now. Huh? Okay, food. What else we got? Food is so 80s. Okay. Are you a fan of Forgotten Weapons? I mean, who doesn't like Forgotten Weapons? You know, again, Jesus. Yeah, I hate food so much, I have to make it disappear. Particularly unhealthy food. I can't have anybody else, you know, expose themselves to the risks of eating unhealthy food, so I gotta just make it all disappear. All of it. Abandon food, embrace photosynthesis. Yeah, indeed. We should all turn green. Just be solar powered directly. Thank you for your service. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. It's not a great service. It's just entertainment with some education. It's not a huge contribution to society. I mean, I guess in pandemic times it's more of a contribution because so many people are at home bored. Do you think we'll ever actually see high-tech versions of classical / medieval / Renaissance weapons in the future like we so often see in sci-fi media? I highly doubt it. I just don't really see high-tech swords and stuff coming up. I think, the genie's out of the bottle. You can't cram the guns back in Pandora's box, or however you want to look at it. I think guns are here to stay. I think ranged weapons is just where we're at. It's just the path. I doubt we're suddenly going to go back to, melee weapons 2.0 on a large scale. But you never know. Like most predictions about the future have been dead wrong. So you never know what's going to happen. Thanks, Mirochi. We should embrace parasitic lifestyle. A lot of people already do that. There are a lot of energy vampires on the internet. I'm going to unsubscribe since you are so lost, in all caps. Okay, buddy, don't let the door hit you in the back. You're a weirdo. Suddenly I'm lost. I don't know where that comes from, if it's the celery or the asparagus or whatever else I talked about, but hey, suit yourself. Sounds like good riddance. I want a Titan combat robot, but it just resembles an English knight's armor. Why not? If money was no problem, where would you move and settle permanently? Back to Vancouver Island. I miss the island. It's just way too expensive. It's ridiculous. Lost Ree! Yeah, I know, right? Like, some of the comments are just... You just look at it like, dude, what? Oh well. Humans are weird. What can you say? Thanks, Crafter for becoming a member. And thanks again, John. And double wield flails with armor instead of shield. Ooh. Now you're really going full offense and no defense, or basically almost no defense. I wouldn't recommend it. The shield goes very well with a flail because a flail is pretty bad for defense. Very limited. So shield can help you out a lot. There was another one. Thanks, Ezra. And Fosher Shamik. YouTube went haywire on me for a bit, so I didn't hear your answer. Sorry about that. What was your question again? Oh, yeah, right. Short answer was I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of it. Like I saw the thumbnail of Shad's custom build scabbard, backdraw scabbard, but that's about it. I haven't followed it. I generally don't have time to watch others much, so I'm out of the loop on most things. So, yeah, no idea. How many subs for a hot top stream? It wouldn't need quite a lot because we don't have a hot top, so have to save up for one, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Several thousands. Hundreds of thousands. Aim for the stars. Thanks, Valen Ninetails. Did you mean to not type a comment? If it was accidental, then feel free to just put it in the chat and I'll keep an eye out for you. Thanks, Birdie. What are some cool weapons you'd wish to see in fantasy? Do you have any favorite races in fantasy? I'll do the easy one first. I tend to like dwarves in fantasy. Dwarves and if if undead count as a race. I think they do sometimes, then undead. Not zombies, but skeletons and liches and all that. Wraiths and phantoms, etc. Cool weapons you'd wish to see in fantasy. I mean, some are underrepresented. I feel like halberds are kind of underrepresented. Muzzle loaders. There are not a lot of muzzle loaders in fantasy, and when they are not actually muzzle loaders. It's the kind of thing that just they keep firing over and over again without reloading, or with like very vague reload animations. I think would be kind of cool. You know, like some flintlock guns, or you know, maybe even the crazier stuff that you had occasionally in history, like multi-barrel muzzle loaders, or you know, what's it called? Words. Why does the word escape me? God damn it. Not a derringer, the earlier form of it, basically. Multiple barrels on a handgun. Each barrel has a nipple that a percussion cap goes on. Why can I not remember? Oh my goodness. Well, I think I know what you know what I mean. No, not duck's foot, not volley gun, no. Pepper box, thank you. Pepper box. God damn it, how did I forget that? Not that the high-tech weapons. Oh yeah, right. Short version is I doubt it. I do think firearms are the path we're on. I don't really see a general return to melee weapons, even if they're enhanced. I think ranged weapons are just the path we're on. It's just, you know, Pandora's box is open once you have firearms. You just kind of keep going with it. I think so. The pen is mightier than the sword until you learn how to use a sword properly. Yeah, pretty much. Especially since history is written by the victors, right? Anyway, thank you. Thanks again. Is it Valen? Is it Valen? I'm not sure. Don't want to butcher your name. I challenge you. Oh, you say it right there. It's Valen. Okay. Sorry about that. I challenge you to pistols at the dawn of the new year. Okay. You didn't specify what pistol, so I'm assuming it's going to be Nerf guns or airsoft. Or thanks, Dubstep Chicken. Where are some good places to learn swordplay and the arts you have shown via this channel in Canada? I would recommend you look up the HEMA Club Finder. It shows a lot of local clubs and schools. Unfortunately, some of them have closed due to the pandemic, but you know, hopefully there's still something available in your area. Thanks, Zachary, longtime fan, going in for back surgery tomorrow, so I finally have time to catch up on your content. Well, good luck with that. That doesn't sound fun, but I hope it goes well. I hope you heal, you know, easily and quickly. Do you think the winged hussars actually wore wings into battle? I honestly can't tell you because I've never researched winged hussars, so unfortunately I don't know. I don't just want to make shit up. Too many people do that. Search Warhammer Empire repeater gun. They have a lot of guns and halberds. I guess that's what you talk about. All right. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. Looks like Warhammer does have quite a bit of this sort of gun, except taken a step further. Neat. Thanks, Nelly, for becoming a member, and holy shit, thank you, Crafter. That's very generous. If there's a Discord, I'll message you later. Skallagrim, what does that mean? Before Christ or Anno Domini? Or Domini? That's a strange question. Anyway, the name, if that's what you're asking, the name is from one of the Old Norse sagas, and it's just one of those things that I found it, I read it, and I liked it, and so I took it. So yeah, that's as simple as that. Is that, or is there a separate question? I don't know. I know where you were going with the Anno Domini and stuff. Anno Dominatrix. Wow. Okay then. Close to pandemic, can't imagine a group more likely to wear masks for everyone's safety. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a mesh mask that everything goes through. So, yeah. I mean, not everything microscopic. Thanks, Angry Clown. The winged hussars wore banners on poles attached to the shoulders, making it look as if they had wings. Well, there you go. Thanks for the answer there. How do you prioritize the following stats for HEMA combat? That's an interesting question. Strength, skill, speed, stamina. I would go skill, speed, stamina, strength. Probably. Yeah. Definitely skill on the first. Stamina is very important too. I mean, they're all important. Strength is important too, obviously. You need all of them. But yeah, I kind of tend to put skill and speed a little higher. The thing is, speed also requires a certain strength, just a particular form of strength, explosive strength, Thanks again, Dubstep Chicken. What, if any, are your favorite Norse mythology stories and your favorites from the sagas? Well, the sagas, I think... I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but I always like the one where they're in... where they're in America and... try to establish a settlement, and the natives attack, and one of the women in the group just grabs a sword, flops out her titties and just charges them, and they get scared and run away. That's good times. Favorite Norse mythology? There's a lot of interesting stories. I like the origin of Thor's hammer, where the dwarf is forging it, and Loki comes along in the form of a horsefly, I think it was, and bites him in the forehead, and the blood keeps running down, and he keeps working, but then eventually has to wipe the blood out of his eyes, and that causes him to leave the hammer in too long, and then it ends up shorter than it's supposed to be. I don't really know how that's supposed to work in terms of actual blacksmithing, but it's a funny story. There's a lot of interesting, I mean, a lot of weird stuff. The way the gods walk around and ask every object and every animal on the planet to agree to not hurt Balder. Aside from the mistletoe, which they thought was so puny that it would never actually do anything. And then Loki tricks, what's his name again? Was it Högni? I might be confusing the name, but yeah, the blind guy persuades him to throw that at Balder. And somehow it kills him. I don't know how, but magic, I guess. Right. Not Högni, it was Höd, or Hödr, I guess. Oh my goodness, I missed a few super chats. Thanks, Jacob. Nelly, Fragsboon, and John. How many layers would a good quality gambeson be? I'm trying to remember. I tested one once, a reproduction that had. How many layers did it have? Quite a few. I think it was over 20. I can't remember exactly. Let me just double check it. Yeah. Over 20. It's 25 to 30, something like that. Yeah. Is a physique that is more inclined to different types of weapons? Oh, is there a physique that is more inclined to different types of weapons? And if so, would you say that it's better to be leaning towards one in general? Okay. If you look at martial artists in general, they're not big hulking barbarian types. Like most of them tend to be more on the what you would call an athletic build. Usually fairly slim and a good amount of muscle mass, but not bulky. That is quite suitable for a lot of martial arts, be it unarmed or armed, because it typically comes with explosive strength and endurance as well. However, on the other hand, you have Roman gladiators who were apparently a little chubby. So they had a certain amount of muscle mass and some fat on top as, additional padding, so to speak, to, allow for superficial cuts that bleed a lot and please the crowd, but aren't lethal or serious the same way. Beowulf or Grendel? I mean, am I supposed to side with the monster? I can't really remember the details of the story. I think Grendel was just kind of they're fairly stereotypical monster, right? I mean, from what I remember, I don't think we got a lot of character depth and motivations from Grendel. I could be misremembering, but it's not really much to work with there. Good medieval weapon / unit to beat a big dinosaur. Okay. I think longbowmen would probably do pretty well. Crossbowmen as well. I don't think you need siege engines for a dinosaur. I mean, depending on just how big it is. But I think longbowmen would probably do pretty well. Grendel ate people. I mean, yeah, well, that in and of itself, like, you could still potentially side with a monster that eats people if it eats terrible people, like if it kills them in self-defense and then eats them, maybe. I know, I always try to put nuance into everything, even when sometimes it's not warranted. Your opinion on Miyamoto Musashi? It's been a long time since I read his book. I mean, he was clearly a very skilled swordsman, and the book has got a lot of solid advice in it. So, I don't know. Thumb up for Musashi. Would you ever travel to Norway? I've lived there, so would I go back there on vacation? Yeah, definitely. I want to study internationally in history. Norway is my first choice of destination. Lots of history. Oh yeah. Also very high standard of living, good healthcare, and you can study for free. I mean, there's like a moderate semester fee, but it's less than $100, I think, unless they've increased it since then. But yeah. Not sure if you see this, but I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks, and same to you. I saw your half sword vid about a year ago and have been a fan ever since. You're awesome. Keep up the great work. Well, thanks, and I will. What is a good website to buy equipment? Cult of Athena and Purple Heart Armory. They're always linked in the description below. Thanks, Sapphire Knight. From an ancient/medieval context, do you believe that the sword was the peak of engineering in close quarters combat? Could it be improved? Close quarters? No, okay, yeah. You probably just mean like general melee range. It's like when I think close quarters, I tend to think of grappling distance, which, arguably a dagger is better at that case. But yeah, I think you can say that. Could it be improved? Well, not really meaningfully. I mean, you can say there are some improvements. Like, for example, you can say that complex hilts that give you hand protection are an improvement. They're not strictly necessary, but they help. They have some downsides. Everything comes with pros and cons. So a basket hilt, for example, gives you amazing protection for the hand, but it limits to an extent what you can do with it. Like some techniques you can't really do as well with it, or not at all. So there are changes you can make that give you different pros and cons, or emphasize them differently. But could you come up with a drastically improved sword that's better in every way? No, probably not. Do you think you would do well in medieval times being neurodivergent? No, not at all. I mean, history was generally not a good place for people like that. I mean, for one, they didn't have ADHD medication, so. And they would have just told me, "Oh, you just gotta try harder." What some people still do, people who are ignorant about the research and everything. But now at least there's ways to get diagnosed and get treatment and all of that. Honestly, I had one of those days today where I woke up feeling like garbage, didn't sleep very well, and it was one of those days where it was particularly bad, where it was just low energy to the point of feeling almost paralyzed, and it just be extremely difficult to think and act and do anything, and etc., etc. So yeah, medication helps. That's why I'm lucid right now. That's why I can actually, was able to record a video, and I can talk to you, and I have energy. I can think clearly, as clearly as my thinking gets, or as clear. See, yeah, it makes a huge difference. Just came to drop a like. Well, thank you. Can you imagine explaining chemical imbalances to someone in the 11th century? Yeah, they would have probably just said, you're possessed. Demon. Either you're possessed by a demon, or you've sinned and God is punishing you. Some shit like that. Very helpful. Thanks, guys. They had no concept of brain chemistry, neurotransmitters. You couldn't even describe it to them, they'd be like, "What? No, it's demons. Demons." I mean, some people are still like that nowadays. There's no excuse for it. Just pray more, yeah, pretty much. So I'm still here. I've just been ignoring the chat because it made me nauseous. Whoa. I mean, I can't blame you. Some of the comments, like, most of you are fine. You know, I'm not going to talk shit. Like, most of you are fine, not a problem. But sometimes there are some real troglodytes in the comments, and you're like, anyway. Very bad take that you are doing about it, NGL. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone else, or what the topic is, or I have no idea. No, it's just going too fast. Okay, I see. Yeah, that the chat is scrolling very fast. I was interpreting it a little more cynically. It's like some comments, yeah. Anyway, I've tried to get your attention for like the last 20 live streams. It's almost like my comments don't show. And of course, the first one I happen to see is the one where you just complain about not getting me to see your comments. Yeah. That's unfortunate. My recommendation generally is just don't complain about not being noticed. I can't see all of you. I just can't. I mean, you see the chat, you see how quickly it scrolls. Just, what do you expect me to do? It's random. And some people just have bad luck in that every time I don't see them. It is what it is. How do you feel about pagan religions in fantasy? Thanks, Birdie. How do I feel about them? I don't know. I don't have specific feelings about that because it's very different. Like, there's all kinds of different religions in fantasy, so I honestly don't know. Fantasy religions with multiple gods. Yeah, they can be interesting. That's about all I got. Gotta say. Thanks, Nelly. I appreciate it. What else we got? Oh my, it's really scrolling like crazy. I see why you get dizzy from it. It's scrolling too fast. A pro tip on getting noticed in chats is to try to use your best to use proper grammar. Yes, that is a good piece of advice. Use capital letters, use punctuation, try to make the sentence coherent and make sense. That definitely helps. I tend to just, like, when I see like a two-word comment that's all lower caps, then I tend to just automatically skip over it. Like, it's not even deliberate. It's just my brain automatically just skips over it because, I've just come to be accustomed to the fact that, like, most people who use no punctuation, no, upper cap, well, unless it's all upper caps, all uppercase or all caps, you know what I mean? This is usually nonsense, so I just skip it. And sometimes I have to put someone in timeout because they're just trolling and just being little micro penises, What can you do? Thanks, Blood Thunder. I've been watching you for years. Really appreciate the content. Have you ever looked at a Smith Badger Blades? I ended many an object with one of their swords. Great quality, simple design. Badger Blades sounds familiar. I think. Have I reviewed something made by Badger Blades? I feel like I have. And I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm just totally misremembering things. Let me just search my own videos really quick, or really quickly, I suppose. Badger, mushroom. Ancient memes. I guess I haven't, huh? Unless it's in the description. Badger? No. Okay, never mind. I guess I'm misremembering. I apparently have not reviewed anything from Badger Blades, so yeah, I guess I don't know. Try to do my best to be clear when chatting. I'm Finnish and English ain't my first language. You're doing fine, don't worry. What else? How do you not have all of your videos memorized? Blasphemy, yeah, I know, right? How dare I? How dare I not remember every single thing I've done over the past 14 years? Damn. Would you consider reviewing Vermintide 2 on the channel? No, not really. The style, the gameplay style of Vermintide is not really my thing. You know, the same thing as with Left 4 Dead. It's too hectic for me. I don't know. Too hectic, chaotic, just kind of not my style. Too fast-paced, I guess. I mean, I do like some fast-paced games, just not that. Also, multiplayer. I'm not really a fan of online multiplayer games. '14, one of the originals, huh? Yeah, kind of. I've been on here for a long time. And a long time to come as well, as far as I'm concerned. YouTubers who put out one video a month, if you're lucky, yeah. I do stick to my twice a week upload schedule. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with that. In fact, most weeks it's hard to keep up with that, but I manage. When did your channel start? How long did it take to get noticed? I started in I created the channel in 2006, but I think in 2007 I started uploading stuff. And I started to get really noticed in 2013. So it was a long time of building up toward it, you know, just keep at it and, you know, yeah. And a lot of improvement to the video quality. The first ones were pretty modest in quality, let's put it that way. You know, everybody starts somewhere. Do you have any non-armed martial arts experience? Just some KC fighting method, KFM. I practiced for a while around, what, 2009-ish? It's been a while. And it hasn't been around for quite a while. The founders went separate ways in the different projects. For a while, some people recognized it as, oh, isn't that what Batman uses? Because which one was it actually? Batman Begins, I think it was. He actually used KFM fighting techniques. Have you never World of Warcrafted? Not really. I mean, I've tried it out, but I've had the same problem with it as with other MMORPGs. It's too repetitive for my taste. It's just, you run up to an enemy, you go through your kind of a fixed order of skills and rinse and repeat. Same thing over and over again. I don't know. And as said, I'm not really a big fan of online multiplayer. Here, take this. Thanks, nerdy turd. And thank you, Object History. Flophead Clubs. Loved hearing you mention them. I imagine examine several antiques of that type on my channel if you're bored sometime. Neat. Yeah, they're pretty interesting. I hadn't heard of them before until I did research for the flail video, and that's a unique type of weapon. "1989 Batman is superior. Jack Nicholson's easily the best Joker. He was great. I think I prefer Heath Ledger's Joker. It's a you can't really compare them because it's a very different flavor. It's a totally different type of Joker. I like both, but like Ledger's performance was just insanely good. Not that Nicholson's was, anything to sneeze at. He was great, but I don't know. Ledger's performance was just something else. I don't think you can beat that. Again, totally different Joker. I mean, Mark Hamill's Joker is kind of I would say it's kind of the benchmark. Like, it's the classic Joker. It's like the definitive Joker, basically. But I personally prefer Ledger's Joker because Hamill's Joker is just annoying. It's just silly, annoying. He's supposed to be. And he does a great job at that. But I do prefer Ledger's version. It's easier to take him seriously as a threat, And you can argue in some ways that's kind of runs counter to the concept because the Joker is supposed to be silly and crazy, which Ledger's just wasn't the same way. I mean, still eccentric and everything, but not crazy, silly, weird. I prefer that, but that's totally personal preference. Ledger's darker, sinister, and mischievous, yeah. But it's not the ridiculous try-hard edgelord version, like who. Oh, Jared Leto's Joker is just absolute disgrace. Like, that is basically, he tried to do Ledger-style Joker and he failed catastrophically. Like, it's just a try-hard edgelord who has nothing going for him. Like, no personality, no character, no uniqueness, just awkward. Anyway. Not exactly a hot take, but that's how most people feel about him. We don't talk about him. Yeah, it's better. recently me and my friends were talking about what sort of fighting style would best fit a baseball bat. That's an interesting question. I would think, I mean, what you find in the manuscripts is usually single-handed bludgeon, unless you're talking staff. But staff techniques don't translate too well to a baseball bat, I think. I feel like you probably would still apply stick fighting techniques to it, because you also have historical stick fighting. In fact, what's it called? Jogo do Pau, or I don't really know how you pronounce that exactly, but it's stick fighting that's very similar to two-handed sword, Zweihander, Montante, etc. Jogo do Pau. Okay, how's it actually pronounced? Jogo do Pau. Okay, basically like that. That would work quite well, I think. Kanabo jutsu. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if you have specific techniques for the use of a kanabo, yeah, that definitely applies to a baseball bat. Kali Eskrima, yeah, it's again single-handed stick techniques as far as I know, but you could adapt it for use with two hands. Have you ever tried being Leto? It's very hard. Yeah, I bet it is. Trying so hard to be unique by copying someone and failing. Yeah, I don't want to talk shit about him. I don't know anything about him as a person. I mean, aside from the things he did on set, sending people dead things in the mail and being like all around creepy. Like, his understanding of method acting is seriously flawed and ridiculous, but I guess that does say something about his personality, but I don't know anything about him beyond that. So you shouldn't really apply the role to the actor necessarily. So I want to be a little careful with that, but yeah, he does seem like he's a little bit unhinged. Oh, it actually means game of the stick in Portuguese. That makes a lot of sense. What else we got? I think his crazy is waiting to get out, but I don't know him personally, so I can't say. Yeah. What's up with these people throwing insults at you and then leaving the chat? I don't know. They're psychos and cowards too. Thanks, Sarah. If you meant to not write a comment, that's okay. But if you did and accidentally didn't work out, then just post it in the regular chat. I'll keep an eye out, because I know that sometimes it happens to people that they send in a super chat and accidentally don't get to type anything in it. Did you render the background? No, not myself. I designed the background in 2D in Photoshop, and then one of my viewers offered to actually turn it into a rendered 3D form, a version of it. I mean, Oi, mate, I don't see no license there. Well, here's my license. There's my license. Right here. Right here. Mate. Where's yours? It does not mean game of the stick. No. Well, and take that up with the person who said it was. I don't speak Portuguese. I don't know. Pro wrestling is the only legitimate form of combat. Well, there you go. I was just going to ask, where's your lady? Well, you might have heard the tippy taps in the background. Tippy toes, I guess. Elusive, yes. What up from Kentville? Hey, how's it going up there? Finally, some good opinions. What even is a good opinion? I feel like the way most people feel is like it's a good opinion if it agrees with them. Like, most people don't even look at, is it a well-expressed opinion? Is it an opinion based in fact or evidence or at least good arguments or whatever? Most people are just like, oh, you agree with me. That's a good opinion. It's definitely something I have noticed on the interwebs, which is not exactly a profound observation. It's kind of common knowledge. Anyway, thanks, Mr. Roboto. Did you see Men of Arms, Dark Souls, Sword of Artorias? I think I saw it pop up in the subscriptions. I just saw the thumbnail, but I haven't seen the video. Wrestling. A good opinion is one that's grammatically correct. It definitely helps to express an opinion well, well spoken and with actual grammar and a sentence that, doesn't cause Godzilla to die of a stroke, Thanks, Valen. What was your job before YouTube? Did you enjoy? Directly, I mean, I've had a few jobs before, but directly before, that was one of the worst. That was, I did a data entry job for a while, and it was the most soul-sucking thing ever. It sucked. It was horrible. Before that, I worked in a store that sold all kinds of stuff, fantasy decorations, knives, swords, airsoft stuff. And, sounds really cool, but at the same time, it was customer service, and customer service sucks. So, yeah, but it was definitely better than the data entry job. That was horrendous. Soul crushing indeed. What's going on? Okay. I believe the community of the sword on YouTube made an impact on educating more people what is historically incorrect and realistic in movies and games. Hopefully. I would hope so. Yeah. That's what we're trying. Thanks, George. Did you play Chivalry 2 yet? No, I have not. Retail is an industry I'd never want to work in. Yeah, I understand you. Like, even if it's something that's fun, that was a really fun kind of store, cool and everything, but even so, customer service, bleh, not fun. Worked in customer service for 8 hours and they were enough to make me quit the job. I hate my species, yeah. I feel ya. Are you looking for content ideas? Honestly, not really. I have a long list of ideas. I mean, feel free to suggest things, but I don't know if I'll get around to them or to covering them, I guess. I do have a lot. Thanks, Sarah. Do you think it's best to stick to one fencing style, for example, Capo Ferro, and to master that first, or are you open to combining disciplines? You can definitely practice things parallel. For example, when I was practicing longsword, I did mostly longsword, but I also practiced messer, saber, and rapier. And yeah, you can do that. You need to make sure that it doesn't bleed into one another. I mean, if you get to a certain point in your skill, then you can start to kind of cross over a little bit and supplement and stuff. But in the beginning, you should definitely keep it a little bit separate. There are going to be overlaps no matter what. Like footwork, for example, is generally going to be relatively similar. Generally, I think I would recommend focusing on one first, simply because you will make progress more quickly if you spend more time on one style or school, compared to spreading yourself thin, basically. What kind of sword is a sword of Artorias? Let me actually look it up. I don't remember what it looks like. What category would that be? That looks like it looks like a two-handed sword. Zweihander, definitely. Some people say great sword. That. Thanks, Crimes. What is your thought on many channels in the community covering same topics and responses, sometimes releasing at around the same time? I don't know about others, but in my case, it's generally, like a lot of the time, it's coincidental. Like I put up a video and then somebody tells me, oh, Chad or Metatron or whoever just put up this video. Is this inspired by it and whatever? I'm like, I didn't even know about it. So in my case, unless it is a response, then I usually point out that it's a response. Unless that's the case, then it's just coincidental. Covering the same topics, yeah, it's a thing that happens. Like, some people get strangely butthurt at times if somebody dares to cover the same topic as another YouTuber, which I always find super weird. It's like, if somebody comes up with a topic, even if they're literally the first, they don't exactly have intellectual property rights on that, Like, that topic is still fair game for anyone and everyone. So it's kind of weird to think that, only one person is allowed to cover a topic. It's like, no, different people have different perspectives and they will tell you their side. So yeah, it's just how it goes. And I think that's useful. The back and forth is useful in case of an actual discussion, and having different perspectives on the same topic is also useful. So there you go. Idea for vid styles you can use with bat axe. What's a bat axe? Is that a Batman gadget, or is it an axe shaped like a bat? Or I don't really know what you're referring to. Anyway, it's 5, and I gotta stop it here. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you found it interesting. Hope you had fun. Thank you for... there's one more super chat that I got to cover, but then I really got to end it. Thanks, Eli. How did historical footmen sharpen their weapons if they needed to when out and about? they most likely had sharpening stones of, like for example, what are they called? Arkansas stones. They wouldn't have them from Arkansas at the time, obviously, but yeah, there's various things you can use. Some might have even used sandstone or some form of abrasive sharpening stone that they would have had on them, or maybe even files. Some of them would have used files. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Thanks, and have a good one, folks.